Lift up your hearts. This position that I'm holding is the ancient prayer position called the Orans position. And notice when I open myself, my heart is lifted. In the practice of yoga, we are often told to lift up our hearts. I remember one time in class, a woman was sitting and her body was caved. She had just recently lost her husband. He had died of cancer. And the yoga teacher came by and opened her up and lifted up her heart. And as soon as that happened, she started weeping. She was going through a good process of grieving. And this lifting up of the heart allowed her to grieve in a good way. When you open up your heart with this Arans position, it's a very vulnerable position. You're making yourself available to others. You're exposing yourself. You're exposing this very fragile part of the body. We tend to want to do this when we feel scared. And yet, these are the first words we hear when we come to the great Thanksgiving. Lift up your hearts. I wonder how this Thanksgiving and this lifting up of the heart, what it means about having Eucharist, which means Thanksgiving. I believe that here we come to surrender to grace. And it is in giving thanks that we recognize how much is out of our control. That the service, in fact, of Eucharist, of Thanksgiving, is one about surrendering to what is out of our control, which is the love of God, which is grace, which is being accepted without anything we can do about it other than our saying yes to it. So I invite you as we celebrate communion for the first time in 9 months to surrender to the grace that is always before us, always around us. And I also invite you to reflect on these last 9 months of what has been gracious to you. What would you give thanks for that has come to you in loving kindness without your control, but you said yes to it? Let us take a moment to give thanks. Amen.